You may just get a few. There we go, well done. You can just see the tail moving, and I guess this is a perfect example of just what I was talking about, Senzo's spotting skills. So, oh, there she's moving now. Well done. Now, sadly, it doesn't look like she was moving the way we wanted her to be moving. I'm just going to reverse a little bit to try and keep up with her, or at least get us some more views. Robin, you'd like to know, how often do leopards kill birds? Well, it'll all depend on the individual leopard, the area that it's in, and what other prey it has access to, but they definitely will. Oh, just saw the cub running off. Let me move forward a tiny bit. So yeah, I mean, just the other day, Hosanna caught a baby goose. So that happened fairly recently. But I mean, it's in this area, it's not hugely often, or at least not that we've seen. But again, predators will always just take whatever opportunities they are presented with. So you'll probably find that they go through periods where they can cash in on birds and opportunities are easy, and then they go through a period where it's not so easy. Well done, Sens. Yeah, let me move back a bit. Well done, Sens. Now, I just need to get onto the game drive radio and let these guys know what's going on here quickly. Morning, guys. Just to let you know, Thandi's in the same lock as yesterday evening. Sorry, let me try one more time. Can any station copy me? Morning, just to let you guys know, Thandi's in the same lock as yesterday evening. Affirmative. Yeah, it's just myself here, and I'm viewing from the boundary. They are south in the Scorva. Okay, everybody, just got some admin out the way there, and it's very important that we do share sightings with everyone. I'm glad you got a little glimpse there. So that's some good news, and let's just hope that they come a little bit closer towards us. Deanna, would like to know if there's any chance that Thandi would give a small bird kill. Oh, there's a little cub to that little fur ball. Yes, there's a chance that she'll give all manner of small prey that may still be alive to the cub, but it's not really something that's practiced a huge deal. And we must also remember that, you know, any little kind of things that a mother leopard would do like that, it's just a bit of extra training, you could say. It's not imperative that she does teach the cubs how to hunt. They will have an instinctual knowledge of how to catch things, just like domestic cats. So even though domestic cats don't get raised by their parents, they get raised by human parents who certainly don't teach them how to hunt, yet they still have the ability to. Very good. Well, we're going to stay patiently here on our boundary and hope this lady comes back onto Djuma, where we'll be able to get you some better views of her. But for now, Tristan has seemed to have got lucky with another leopard. Well, happy to hear Brent is in such a good mood this morning, regaling you of stories of the past. And it really is wonderful how much of the crew has stayed along for the journey, as well as all the new crew members who've very recently joined. Thandi just got up there for a second. I was hoping it was going to be her time to come back to Djuma, but alas, she just lay back down. So not too sure what got her attention. Maybe it's just the youngster, which is in a very playful mood. It's up and down. Oh, there it is, back to mom for a little bit of playing. What you tend to find is that mom is not too interested. As you can see her snarling and hissing at the cub, so she's, I guess, getting a little bit tired of its games for the morning. We have on a few occasions had Mom also in a very playful mood, and I'm sure it does happen almost daily that she does get along with the cub, but there are periods of time where she would rather just relax and be an adult. Oh, and then what you tend to find is the cub doing just this is when Mom's not interested, the cub kind of goes off for a minute or so on its own little exploration and then comes back to Mom just to check in, and then off she goes again. Sadly, it is so thick here, so it's been difficult to follow the cub's exact movements, but definitely doing a lot of exploring. Snazzy, you would like to know whether a leopardess would teach its cub to eat only kind of certain parts of a kill. And I don't think so. I think, the majority of the kill, the cub is going to, be able to taste what is tasty and discard what is not. So there's only a few parts of the carcass, like the kind of stomach content or any bits that are simply too big to physically chew on and swallow, that will be left behind. Almost everything else on a carcass, depending on what it is, will be eaten. So I think kind of things like feathers and fur will naturally be avoided because it's not going to be pleasant to chew on. So I'm not too sure how much actual teaching happens there, as opposed to just kind of it just naturally happening without any necessary tutorials on the matter. Again, there is just so much instinct that is born into these wild animals that help them survive. I guess we could think of the herbivores who, within minutes of being born, a lot of them will know how to stand and then also just know where to seek out milk and know what to do to get the milk out of their mother's mammaries. And the same as the leopard cubs, and lion cubs, they know that they have to use their paws to massage their mother's mammary glands to help get milk out. And that's not something that is trained by their mother. It's merely instinct. Oh, well done, Sens. Another little glimpse. Nancy, you would like to know if there are any updates on this leopard's sister called Shadow and her daughter who's called Not Barbara. There hasn't been any reports for quite some time now. So, let's hope everything's okay. It's a bit of guesswork on my behalf here, but I'm fairly confident that Shadow's territory occupies a larger area that this Hukumuri male is now moving through. And the Hukumuri male could have come across her and her daughter and possibly killed both of them. And it's just a possibility. There was no tracks or no sightings or no confirmation that did happen, but it is a likely, especially due to the fact that she hasn't been seen for so long. Let's hope that is not the case and that she's just kind of flying below the radar, moving far away, also trying to dodge the imposter, just like this leopard and her cub are doing. But no, we haven't heard of any sign of her, and Tristan, who's got lots of contacts all around the surrounding properties where Shadow could be seen, he too has not got any updates. So if he hasn't got any updates, then we can start getting a little bit concerned as to where she may be. But let's hope that she is still out and about. There's also, on top of the fact that there's a bit of a dispute between the dominant males of this area with the new imposter, there was also a kind of dispute between Shadow and Thandi, these two sisters who tried to occupy their late mother's territory. We're guessing their mother has also passed away. Okay, well, we're going to stay put. Thandi is kind of semi-up, so let's hope that she plans a move shortly. Maybe she's even going to just go out hunting for their next meal and take us along with. In the meantime, we are sending you back to Tristan, though. Maybe he'll have some more theories as to where Shadow and Not Barbara may be. and also a glimpse of the Hukumuri male. Yes, we've got a perfect little gap here to see Mom and this youngster playing about, and they were kind of running around a little bit and then just plopped themselves down perfectly in this little window for us. Look at how cool this is. Wonderful stuff. Now, I must reiterate, if any of you have just joined us, we are sniping some views of these guys. We're hoping they're going to come a little bit closer towards us, but this is the closest we can get to now, and definitely the best views we've been getting all morning. And so fortunate to be able to spend time with a leopardess and her cub, and especially the fact that we've been watching this little cub grow, and it's growing very quickly. Each time I see it, I'm astounded at how much bigger it's getting. Ah, what a treat. You can see it's quite feisty, and it can really hiss and snarl at its mom when mom's not playing along. But mom does give it back to the youngster every now and then. James Richards, you agree that this little cub is getting so big, and I remember the first time I ever laid eyes on it, it was probably a third of how big it is now, and that was somewhere around the 10th of December. Poked its head out of a tiny little cavity in a tree, and it was the most awesome way to see it for the first time. We initially just got a glimpse of movement, and then it slowly just came and poked its head out. It seems like it's climbing a tree now. I just want to drive forward a bit and see if we can't get you any views of it. So somewhere on that dark branch there we go. It's up in the tree there. Well done, Sense. Matt, you would like to know if Thandi has got any idea that the Hukumuri male is somewhere around. Not that we are aware, but the cub just flung itself down there. Not that I'm aware, we are aware, but there is a chance that she went out scouting last night for any possible threats and worked out that he is nearby, so maybe she does know, but I think she's just got a general idea that he is moving into the area. And that's why she's moved out of the kind of central parts of Djuma, where we were kind of seeing her and where she was spending a lot of time with the cub. As soon as he came onto the scene, she almost immediately moved east towards our eastern boundary, and thereafter she moved south. And she hasn't really gone back, into that area just yet. So I'm guessing she is avoiding it because she has the general idea that he's around and that there's some kind of a dispute going on between her boyfriend and this newcomer. You can just see the cub's tail dangling in the tree there. Looks like it's clinging on. Come and play a little bit closer to us. It'll be so nice to be able to see exactly what it's getting up to. It's torture that it's just behind this bush. But at least we do have them, and they could at any moment get up and move into a better spot for us to view them. It's a nice cool morning, so that's definitely going to assist with them being playful and active, or at least the little cub being playful and active for longer. Ordinarily now, if the sun was shining, we'd be starting to get quite hot. Caitlin, you would like to know how many leopards are in Djuma. Well, there's this female and her sister that we can see. Those are the two main kind of females that we see. And there's one main dominant male called Tingana, so that's 3. Oh! 2 young males that come through from time to time, so that's 5. Another male to the north called Djuma that we occasionally see, plus the new imposter, so that's 7. We saw a random female that could also be pushing into the area, called the Ingrid Dam female, not so long ago, so that's 8. So yeah, I mean, 8 adults we can see, but Thandi is definitely the most common residence. Her territory encompasses a lot of the Djuma property. The dominant male's territory stretches far bigger than our little area. So he's often not on the property, making sure he patrols his territory elsewhere. So yeah, I mean, about 8 leopards that are all adults can be seen. And I'm almost certain that there's always probably a leopard on our area of traverse. It's just whether or not we can find it. And sometimes there's considerably more than that. We've been lucky with some sightings of the dominant male with his girlfriend and sometimes their youngsters, so 3 leopards together. How cool is this? Come on, Thandi, come back to Djuma. We are right here. There's lots of food. I guess there's also the Hukumuri male, but she can go. There's lots of areas where she can go where she'll be far away from him. And at least we do. I mean, not that we would be able to do anything to assist her, not that we would, but at least for our own kind of peace of mind, we know where he is and that she, for the time being, is safe over here. Well, it sounds like Tristan has left that tricky sighting of the Hukumuri male where visuals weren't great, and hopefully he'll be able to find one of the other leopards we've just been chatting about. Ideally, Shadow and not Barbara, who haven't graced us with their presence for a long time. Why don't you go and see what he has planned? Yes, the cub has just moved out into a little clearing. We had lost visual of them for about 10 minutes. We really thought they were going to cross back to Djuma. They were steadily making their way towards us, but then they plonked themselves down. But at least now we do have a view of this cub who seems to finally be tiring this morning. It's been almost as energetic as Brent has. I think Brent had a bowl of sugar for breakfast this morning by the sounds of things. Very happy to hear he's in a joyful mood. And you can see this cub is kind of winding down, although it looks like it may be getting ready for another little bout of stalk mommy. It loves creeping up on its mom and pouncing on her tail. It's also been up and down, jumping out of trees this morning, practicing, honing all of its various skills that will make it a successful adult and even a successful youngster. The ability for it to be able to move quickly up and down trees is going to help it greatly when trying to avoid risks from animals like hyena and lion. And wouldn't it be nice to know how many close encounters this little cub has already had? We are only out for a fraction of the time that they are doing their business, so we would have lost, or not lost, but missed a lot of interesting moments and hair-raising moments that this cub has been through. Rick, you love the little black pearl necklace on her chest there, and it is a beautiful kind of necklace that all leopards have. They are all slightly different, but that little black necklace is common amongst all the leopards. She definitely is a little cutie, though. Hello. And Nikki has just agreed with you, Rick. Apparently there's a kind of one large black pearl on the center of that necklace, which is quite distinctive. And some people have the incredible ability to be able to really notice the differences between individual leopards, Nikki being one of them. A lot of you guys are also really good when it comes to identifying them. Tristan's also good. Myself, on the other hand, not so sharp. They all look fairly similar to me. But just like us as humans, we are all different. Unless you're an identical twin, then you won't be different. Proud Cat Mama, you would like to know the best way to be able to age a leopard. Well, occasionally people here in the Sabi Sands and other wilderness areas do get lucky, and they actually know categorically that a leopard has given birth on a set day. They may be with her in the morning and see that she's pregnant, and that afternoon they'll notice that she's no longer pregnant, and that way they'll know exactly how old they are. Other than that, it's just kind of guesswork. You know, the average size of a cub will give you an idea as to how old it should be, but there's always kind of exceptions to the rule. And again, if we relate aging leopard to aging humans, if you lined up 10 humans in a row, you probably wouldn't get many of their ages correct, and they're our own species, so it's a lot of guesswork. Good stuff. We're going to stay put. Hopefully the leopards won't, and they will come out and get a little bit closer to us. For now, though, back to the Mara with Brents. Yes, she certainly is on the move. It looks like she's left the cub behind in this area. She's been hanging out for what seems like the last few days, and it's obviously time for her to go and look for their next meal. And thankfully, she has just headed straight onto Djuma, which is good signs. If she does manage to make a kill on Djuma, she'll hopefully go and collect the cub and bring her straight back. Now, it looks like she kind of changed direction, so I just want to slink into this little low-lying area here and hopefully be able to get you some more views of her that way. Woo! Well, she's out and about, and she could continue to move for a long portion of the day, or she could just lie up away from the cub where she'll be able to relax in peace. Time will tell, though. I'm not sure what she's doing. It looks like she could be sniffing around and rolling in some dung. Leopards like to do that, especially buffalo dung. What is it that you found there? Fascinating how good her camouflage is there. It was tricky to see her before Senzo zoomed in. Beautiful. Well, I wonder what that was. Hard to be certain, but I'm guessing it was some kind of dung that leopards will like to roll in from time to time. And we've got a special question from a special person in our team, Conrad, a new member of our tech department whose birthday it is, would like to know why would she roll in the dung. And Conrad, happy birthday. And it's hard to be certain, you know, maybe it is to mask their scent to a degree. Maybe they just like the smell of it. I've even actually seen them kind of lapping up, almost drinking very fresh buffalo dung in the past, and whether that's also for some salts and minerals, I would guess. Few missing nutrients from their meaty diet. Isn't this beautiful with her moving through all these grasses that are in full flower, lots of seeds. Perfect spot for her to stalk in. And she's just moving along slowly, making sure she doesn't pass up any easy opportunities. As good as this thick bush is for her to hide in, it's also equally good cover for her prey to disappear into. So Kylie, you would like to know if big cats like catnip. Yes, I'm told they do. I've never actually done an experiment with catnip in any of the big cats, but I have been told that lions do enjoy it, as do leopards. So the answer to your question is yes. Okay. Squeeze through here. Oh. I'm guessing she is going to continue up towards us here, but it is a bit of a gamble. There's no guarantees. Just wishfully thinking that she is going to keep coming deeper into Djuma. Yeah, looking good, looking good. We'll be able to loop ahead of her quite nicely here. take a couple of minutes before we do get a good view, but we certainly are feeling hopeful. And while we do negotiate the next... Yes, she's on the move now and getting into her morning hunt. And thankfully, she is continuing to go deeper into Djuma. So, wonderful, wonderful prospects. And we've still got so much more time to spend with her. So, provided we can actually follow her through this area she's moving, there are a few thick sections which will be tricky for us to follow her. But if we do, spend the next hour and a half on the move with a hunting leopardess. How cool is that? It is going to require us to loop around again, though, so we're going to do that and send you back to in the meantime. Well, good luck, Brent. I hope you get lucky with your leopard in the Mara. We're getting lucky with our leopard here in the Sabi Sands. I'm not too sure what has caught her attention, but she's definitely started creeping forward into this area, so she could well have detected some possible prey. It's quite thick, so we're going to have to try and skirt around and not interfere in any way. So we're just going to slowly creep into different spots and kind of stay parallel to her, not move directly behind her. She continues to slink forward now, and so do we. Always a tricky balance, trying to work out where to position the vehicle when animals are on the hunt. She's definitely of something up ahead of her. She's continuing to creep alongside us now. It'll be impossible for us to show you whilst off-roading, but she is steadily just kind of creeping forward. What could it be that she's spotted? Maybe some warthogs she's heard squeaking to their mother. There's a few young warthogs out at the moment. Maybe a steenbok or a duiker, a small antelope. She likes those. Okay, we can stop here and just snipe a few views of her. She seems to have relaxed a little bit, but she is definitely still moving with intent. Well done, Sens. Tricky work on camera when a leopard is moving through thick bush like this. She's obviously now just stopping and listening. If she takes a few more steps, she'll pop out into a slightly better view, but for now you can just see a few of her spots. What have you caught wind of, Thandi? Now, even though she may well know there's something here, imagine being so low to the ground. We elevated, so we've got an even better vantage point than she does. So that's why she'll have to stop, listen, assess, make sure she doesn't blunder any opportunities, because the prey could be a lot closer to her than she is aware of. Okay, it looks like we've got a nice little gap where we can continue to squirrel on after her through. Also a nice big termite mound ahead of us that she might decide to come and use as a vantage point. Julie, you'd like to get lost out here? Not for a while, but at night, yes. At night, following animals off-road, it can get quite tricky, especially if it's overcast and you don't have the stars to help guide you. But thankfully, I mean, here in the Sabi Sands, there's quite a dense network of roads, so there's not huge blocks of land that you can get lost in. Whereas there are other areas like the Mara where there's not a lot of roads and it's certainly very easy to get lost there. Now, I'm guessing if we just stop here, she could hopefully continue on towards us. But it was quite a thick area that she dissolved into. So we'll just have to sit here and wait and hope that she continues on the same trajectory that she was moving on. Got her, Sens? Yeah. Sens has got her. Well done. I love these views of them when it's really thick bush. I think it really gives you a good idea of just how effective these masters of stealth can be. There's a few Franklin chirping off. I don't think they can see her, but there's something that's causing them to chirp away, not too far from us. Michael, you would like to know, what is the biggest challenge when off-roading and following leopards? One of the tricky things is keeping an eye on the animal whilst you're trying to negotiate a pathway, because they kind of do alter their course ever so slightly as they're moving. It's really important that you do try and keep a visual of them, but negotiating through some thick areas obviously requires you to take your eyes off them. So it's that kind of ping-ponging from your route planning to the animals' plans that you need to kind of balance up and weigh up, and then there's a lot of guesswork and just kind of predictions when it comes to where you think they may pop out. It looks like we got lucky with this prediction because she's going to pop out right next to us here. Magic. Her body language seems to be kind of calming down now, so I'm guessing whatever it is that she did detect in this area, she no longer has an idea of what it's doing. Straight behind our vehicle, just meters behind Senzo. So cool. I'm just going to give her enough space to move off, which she has now, and then we can turn around and plan our next route. Wonderful stuff. Well, we are going to get you hopefully into another good spot, and while we do that, we will be sending you... Yes, well done, Tristan, for getting you another glimpse of the imposter. And we are just going to stay right here because Thandi is coming straight towards us, and she could well creep up onto the small termite mound and use it as a bit of a vantage point. Now, she is heading straight towards our eastern boundary, so there is a chance that we may have to leave her shortly. Beautiful, beautiful views there of her trying to detect any possible meal opportunities, but it doesn't appear like there's too much in the way of food in this immediate area. But of course, that could change in a heartbeat. Scarlett, you'd like to know, at what age will a leopard become independent? And it all depends on the individual, but anywhere from as young as a year up to about 2 years of age would be one that's stuck around here. Look at this, she's kind of slinking herself, holding her body low to the termite mound, making sure that nothing detects her as she gets onto it. Beautiful. Let's just reverse a little bit so we can get some more epic views of her now that she's got comfy there. Go. How wonderful is this? So we couldn't have asked for a better morning. A few glimpses of her and the cub playing around together. Now she's decided to take us out hunting, and she's got good conditions for hunting today because it's nice and cool. So she's not going to be too hot as she searches for food, and it'll be really interesting to see how much she does decide to move today. She could well end up checking a lot of areas just to make sure she knows of any threats to her cub. So it's not only looking for meals, that will be on her list of things to do. Wonderful. I just need to get on the radio just to update Taxon, one of the guides who are going to be joining us here. Oh. Tax. Oh, there's some impala. Copy, if you just stand by there, she's heading towards you, and there's some impala between us. Okay, we've just spotted some impala. Affirmative, I saw you. Just stop and look to your west, and you'll see some impala, and you'll also see us driving around. Okay, so awesome stuff, and because she is very close to some impala, I think we're going to invite some other viewers on board with us. Just want to get into a good spot where we can sit and wait. Let's go up ahead here a little bit. Try and pick a good spot where we can view without interfering. You got it there, Sens. Hello, everyone. We've got a very exciting scene unfolding here. We are coming to you live from the Sabi Sands in South Africa, and somewhere in those thick bushes there is a leopard, and it's sneaking up on a herd of impala. So it's still got a long way to go. My name's Scott, and it's great to have you on this live safari. Please pop your questions and thoughts in the comment box below. Here comes the leopard, and it's a female leopard called Thandi. She's got a tiny 3-month-old cub at the moment who she's just left behind at an area where she feels the cub is safe, and now she's headed off in search of some food for them. Oh, I've just heard an impala alarm call. Pah! But I'm not convinced that they've seen her, so I'm not too sure what could be going on. It could just be the fact that there's quite a few males within this herd, and the males will fight with one another and sometimes alarm call at one another. So this is the perfect distraction for her. A whole bunch of men on tour can sometimes provide a mistress of stealth like this with the opportunity she needs to get lucky. Very happy to hear that my mother is watching. Hi, Ma. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. And Philip Austin, also very happy to hear that you are watching, and to the rest of the people who are joining us from across the globe. Again, I must reiterate, this is coming to you absolutely 103% live, and we couldn't have asked for a more epic scene to be unfolding. As much as leopard do like to use the cover of darkness for hunting, it doesn't mean that they do not hunt during the day, and she is definitely going to think about, well, I would have thought she was going to think about having a go for these impala, but now she's heading off in the opposite direction. And Craig, you'd like to see some of the impala, the possible prey. There they are. So they're about 50 meters away from her, which is a long way off. She needs to be about 5 to 10 meters away before she starts her attack. And I guess one of the things that will be constant for us as safari guides is that very often the animals will prove us wrong and go against all our thoughts and predictions, just like the fact that she started heading away from these impala. Maybe she's trying to loop ahead of them, so we'll just keep an eye on her. Or maybe it was the fact that there were some alarm calls that kind of made her think of trying to go and find another meal elsewhere where there are less eyes. There's quite a few eyes there spying on her. Maria, you'd like to know what sensors the leopard will use when hunting. Is it their sight, their smell, their hearing? Which one do they use more of? It all depends on the individual hunt. They'll use a combination of all three of those sensors, but depending on the thickness of the vegetation, whether it's day or night, they may use one sense slightly more than another. But I guess sight is probably one of the most important ones at the end of the day, because that's what they need to do. They need to lock targets and be able to chase their prey down with precision, speed, and agility. Now, I can't work out where she's gone, but we're certainly going to stick around this area and continue to try and follow her. I'm sorry that she didn't provide us with much action there, but it was good to see her, and we couldn't resist calling you guys in the chance that she did, in fact, lay an ambush on those impala. If you would like to continue watching, just Google Safari Live. Our safari will be continuing for another hour this morning, and then again this afternoon. Very good. Thank you for joining in briefly. I need to work out where this leopard's gone. See you next time. All right, everybody. Well, that was a change of scenery, and we are still happy to be here with her. I'm guessing she's just laid down here somewhere, but we actually don't know where she is. I was just assuming the other vehicle was going to have seen her, but they haven't. They've just looked at us like that. So we'll send you across to Tristan while we try and work out where, in fact, she has gone.